Chapter 10. December 18th, 1996. For reasons unknown, the old-fashioned lamp that's always been at the end table in Dr. Robin Durst's office grabs my attention. It strikes me as one of the few things that would suit both my mother and stepfather. Excuse me. John would like the lamp because it represents the Victorian era and ideals, a time when duty, personal responsibility, and a strong work ethic was prized, a period when proper women were subversive to their husbands and sexually restrained. Mom would like the lamp for its groovy colors. First, she'd sew a round piece of cloth in complementary hues to set the lamp on, and then she'd find the perfect small plant that would thrive beneath its soft, glowing light. The morning fog has a way of creeping into the garage, diffusing light and blurring the lines and the shapes of the objects around me. There's no sense of time in my suburban jail cell, other than time seems to pass much slower here than it does everywhere else. My breath momentarily hangs in the cold morning air. Perhaps I've adjusted to the isolation and boredom that is my life. Should we pause because of the helicopter?
Sure.
Now we got a helicopter, cars driving by, and a train. Spokane. Cut. And we're back. Perhaps I've adjusted to the isolation and boredom that is my life. It's amazing what you can get used to when you have no choice. I'll have the entire house to myself soon. That makes me smile. I emerge from the dingy blanket, slide my arm under the couch, and grab the shoebox stashed below. I lift the lid and fumble through the odd objects I've hung on to as everything else slipped away. There are a few old pictures, cheap souvenirs, postcards, and various knickknacks. I look at the American airline pin on wings from a trip that seems so long ago. The mood ring has turned black in the cold. I give it a rub, which creates a living spot of green that quickly fades away. I smell the small bar of soap wrapped in wax paper that my father took from a Spanish hotel. I study the dates on the old coins I saved and squeeze the arrowhead I found on the Diamond D Ranch in the palm of my hand. There's a tiny helmet that Major Matt Mason once wore, and a bookmark from my all-time favorite teacher. I close the lid and look around. The garage is furnished with loneliness, and I'm lost in the musty hours of the past tense. Mom is subtle at first. She mentions something about a nearby town called Davis while we're in the car. Then she sprinkles Davis casually into conversations around the house. Finally, taking the direct approach at the dinner table, she shows John the article she clipped from the Sacramento Bee entitled Bike City, USA. She reads aloud about the number of cyclists who pedal safely within the confines of the country's first bike lanes. The lanes began on the streets surrounding UC Davis and were later adopted by the city planners. She's lobbying for another move. Is it because she needs to escape from her affairs with Big Ray and my former best friend's dad? Or is she already bored with them and longs for fresh meat? Maybe we'll continue moving for the rest of our lives because my mother is a raging nymphomaniac. It's never about what's best for the family, it's about what's best for her, and she always gets her way. Our mother will never drive a car, but she can certainly ride a bike. In Davis, she can pedal her way to freedom. She can get out of the house, away from John, and away from her children. There's the train again, so let's pause for a sec. She pulls the right strings, and soon John is on board with the move. Though we have no say in the matter, Mom and John begin selling us on Davis as if we're real estate investment property brokers. Davis is a college town, which means there are concerts, Mom says, and football games, add John. I might take some classes, she says. There host lectures featuring world-renowned doctors and scientists. Davis has a community garden and solar-powered apartments. We'll get bikes for each of you. This is news to John, based on the look he tosses Mom. In Davis, they make it easy to recycle your garbage. Isn't that fantastic, she says with the artificial excitement of a TV game show host. Wow, says Shelley, with just enough fake enthusiasm to cover her sarcasm. We listen with blank stares about how Davis is one of the best planned small communities in the Western Hemisphere. Eden, Shangri-La, the promised land. They take us on a family trip so we can experience the splendor firsthand. We bounce our way across the Yolo Causeway. I've been on this stretch of highway many times and I have never noticed a giant geodesic dome looming on the horizon. I can't speak for my sisters or brother, but my expectations are sky high. We take the Olive Drive exit. I'm on the lookout for flying cars, solar windmills, moving sidewalks, and a monorail. I'm preparing to meet the Jetsons. And then Davis turns out to be as interesting, about as visually stimulating as the skid marks in my underwear. This is suburban paradise? My brother and sisters are equally disappointed. A Chuck Swift Dodge dealership, a train station, a hardware store / lumber store, and a Kentucky Fried Chicken? So what? We are not impressed and have no desire to relocate to this bland shithole of a town. The only difference I notice is an abundance of outdoor couches. The graffiti on the water tower reads, "Don't look up here, the joke is in your pants." Yes, there are people riding bikes in designated lanes, and for whatever reason, this thrills our mother beyond reason. John nearly runs a bicyclist over. The man stops, yells, "Asshole!" and gives us the finger. And my parents act like he's waving hello and welcoming us to Davis. Okay, we'll stop there for today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back next Tuesday for another Page Turning Tuesday with Tom. Hey, that's me. See you then. Bye.